Lazarus come forth Lazarus come forth by Ray Bradbury. The morgue ship had gleaned information from space that would end the 300-year war, knowledge that would defeat the aggressor Martians, if Brandon could carry it to Earth. Transcriber's note: this text was produced from Planet Stories Winter 1944. Extensive research did not uncover any evidence that the U.S. copyright on this publication was renewed. Logan's way of laughing was bad. There's a new body up in the airlock, Brandon. Climb the rungs and have a look. Logan's eyes had a green shine to them, eager and intent. They were ugly, obscene. Brandon swore under his breath. This room of the morgue ship was crowded with their two personalities. Besides that, there were scores of cold shelves of bodies freezing quietly, and the insistent vibration of the coroner tables, machinery spinning under them. And Logan was like a little machine that never stopped talking. Leave me alone. Brandon rose up, tall and thinned by the years, looking as old as a pocked meteor. Just keep quiet. Logan sucked his cigarette. Scared to go upstairs? Scared it might be your son we just picked up? Brandon reached Logan in about one stride, and while the morgue ship slipped on through space, he clenched the coroner's blue uniform with the small bones inside it and hung it up against the wall, pressing inward until Logan couldn't breathe. Logan blew air, his eyes looked helpless. He tried to speak and could only grunt like a stuck pig. He waved his short arms, flapping. Brandon kept him there, crucified on a fist. I told you. Let me search for my own son's body in my own way. I don't need your tongue. Logan's eyes were losing their shine, were getting blind and glazed. Brandon stepped back, releasing the little assistant. Logan bumped softly against metal flooring, his mouth hungry for air, his nostrils flaring for breath. Brandon watched the little face of Logan over the crouched, gasping body, with red color and anger shooting up into it with every passing second. Coward, he threw it out of himself, Logan did. Got yellow, neon tubing, for your spine. Coward. Never went to war. Never did anything for Earth against Mars. Brandon said the words in slow motion. Shut up. Why? Logan crept back, inching up the metal hull. The blood pumps under the skirts of the tables pulsed across the warm silence. Does it hurt, the truth? Your son'd be proud of you, okay? Ha. He coughed and spat. He was so damn ashamed of you he went and signed up for space combat. So he got lost from his ship during a battle. Logan licked his lips very carefully. So, to make up for it, you signed on a morgue ship. Try to find his body. Try to make amends. I know you. You wouldn't join the Space Warriors to fight. No guts for that. Had to get a nice easy job on a morgue ship. Lines appeared in Brandon's gaunt cheeks, his eyes were closed, the lids pale. He said, and tried to believe it himself, Someone has to pick up the bodies after the battle. They can't go flying on forever in their own orbits. They deserve burial. The bitterness of Logan struck even deeper. Who are you trying to convince? He was on his feet now. Me, it's different. I got a right to running this ship. I was in the other war. You're a liar, Brandon retorted. You hunted radium in the asteroids with a mineral tug. You took this morgue ship job so you could go right on hunting radium, picking up bodies on the side. Logan laughed softly, but not humorously. So what? Least I'm no coward. I'll burn anybody gets in my way. He thought it over. Unless, he added, they give me a little money. Brandon turned away, feeling ill. He forced himself to climb up the rungs toward that airlock, where that fresh body lay, newly stillborn from space by the retrieving claw. His palms let wet shining prints on the rungs. His climbing feet made a soft noise in the cold metal silence. The body lay in the cold airlock's center, as thousands had lain before. Its posture was one of easy slumber, relaxed and not speaking ever again. Brandon took in his breath. Numbly he realized it was not his son. Every time a new body was found he feared and yet hoped it would be Richard. Richard of the easy laughter and good smile and dark curly hair. Richard who was now floating off somewhere towards some far eternity. Brandon's eyes dilated. He went to his knees and with efficient darts of his eyes, he covered the vital points of this strange uniform with the young body inside it. His heart pounded briefly, and when he got up again he acted like he had been struck in the face. He walked unsteadily to the rungs. Logan, he called down the hole in a numbed voice. Logan, come up here. Quick. Logan climbed lazily up, emitting grunts and smoke. Look here, said Brandon, kneeling again by the body. Logan looked and didn't believe it. Where in hell do you get that? Lying there, the face of the body was like snow framed by the ebon black of the hair. The eyes were blue jewels caught in the snow. There were slender fingers reclining against the hips. But, most important of all, was the cut of the silver metal uniform, the grey leather belt and the bronze triangle over the silent heart with the numerals 51 on it. Logan held on to the rungs. 300 years old, he whispered it. 300 years old, he said. Yes. The numerals 51 were enough for Brandon. After all these centuries, and in perfect condition. Look how calm he is. Most corpse faces aren't pretty. Something happened 300 years ago, and he's been drifting, alone, ever since. Brandon caught his breath. What's wrong? Snapped Logan. This man, said Brandon, wonderingly, committed suicide. How do you figure? There's not a mark of decompression, centrifugal force, disintegrator or ray burn on him. He simply stepped out of a ship. Why should a scientist of the 51 Circle commit suicide? They had wars back there, too, said Logan. But this is the first time I ever seen a stiff from one of them. It can't happen. He should have been messed up by meteors. A strange prickling crept over Brandon. When I was a kid, I remember thumbing through history books, reading about those famous 51 scientists of the Circle who were doing experimental work on Pluto back in the year 2100. I memorized their uniforms, and this bronze badge. I couldn't mistake it. There was a rumor that they were experimenting with some new universal power weapon. A myth, said Logan. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe not. But before that super weapon was completed, Earth fell beneath Mars' assault. The 51 scientists destroyed themselves and their base when the Martians came. The myth says that if the Martians had been only a month later, the weapon would have been out of blueprint and into metal. Brandon stopped talking and looked at the long-boned, easily slumbering scientist. And now he shows up. One of the original 51. I wonder what happened. Maybe he tried to reach Earth and had to leap into space to escape the Martians. Logan, we've got history with us, pulled in out of space, cold and stark under our hands. Logan laughed uneasily. Yeah. Now, if we only had that weapon. Baby, that'd be something to sing about, by God. Brandon jerked. Logan looked at him. What's eating you? Brandon laid his fingers on the dead scientist's skull. Maybe, just maybe, we have got the weapon, he said. His hand trembled. The coroner pumps throbbed warmly under the table, while manipulating tendrils darted swiftly, effectively over the dead scientist's body. Brandon moved, too, like a machine. In a regular fury he had forced Logan to hurry the body down into the preparations room, inject adrenaline, thermal units, apply the blood pump and accomplish 1,000 other demanding and instantaneous tasks. Now, out of the way, Logan. You're more trouble than help. Logan stumbled back. Okay. Don't get snotty. It won't work. I keep telling you. All these years. Brandon could see nothing. Logan's voice was muffled, far away. There was only the surge of pumps, the sweating heat of the little cubicle, and niche number 12 waiting to receive this body if he failed. Brandon swallowed, tightly. Niche number 12 waiting, cold, ready, waiting for a body to fill it. He'd have to fight to keep it empty. He began to sing song words over and over as he injected stimulants into the body. He didn't know where the words came from childhood, maybe, from his old religious memories. Lazarus, come forth, Brandon said softly, bending close, adjusting the manipulatory tendrils. Lazarus, come forth. Logan snorted. Lazarus. Will you can that? Brandon had to talk to himself. Inside his brain he's got that energy weapon that Earth can use to end the war. It's been frozen in there 300 years. If we can thaw it out, whoever heard of reviving a body after that long? He's perfectly preserved. Perfectly frozen. Oh, God, this is fate. I know it. I feel it. Came to find Richard and I found something bigger. Lazarus. Lazarus, come forth from the tomb. The machines thrummed louder, beating into his ears. Brandon listened, watched for just one pulse, just one beat, one word, one moment of life. Air for the lungs, and Brandon attached oxygen cones over the fine nose and relaxed lips. Pressure on the ribs. Metal plates pressuring the rib case slowly out and in. Circulation. Brandon touched the control at the foot of the table and the whole table tilted back and forth in a whining teeter-totter. A report clipped through on the audio, morgue ship. Battle Unit 766 calling morgue ship. Off orbit of Pluto 234 cc, 0.02, off 32, 1/7, follow up. Battle just terminated. 6 Martian ships destroyed. 1 Earth ship blasted apart and bodies thrown into space. Please recover. 79 men. Bodies in orbit heading toward Sun at 23,456 an hour. Check. Logan flipped his cigarette away. That's us. We got work to do. Come on. Let that stiff cool. He'll be here when we come back. No. Brandon fairly shouted it, eyes wild. He's more important than all those men out there. We can help them later. He can help us now. The table came to a halt, bringing absolute silence. Brandon bent forward to press his ear against the warmed rib casing. Wait. There it was. Unbelievably, there it was. A tiny pulse stirring like a termite down under, softly and sluggishly moving through the body, jabbing the heart and, now. Brandon cried out. He was shaking all over. He was setting the machine in operation again, and talking and laughing and going crazy with it. He's alive. He's alive. Lazarus has come from the tomb. Lazarus reborn again. Notify Earth immediately. At the end of an hour, the pulse was timing normal, the temperature was lowering down from a fever, and Brandon moved about the preparations room watching every quiver of the body's internal organs through the tubular fluoroscope. He exulted. This was having Richard alive again. It was compensation. You roared into space looking somewhere for your lost self-respect, your pride, looking for your son who is shooting on some soundless orbit into nothing, and now the biggest child of fate is deposited in your arms to warm and bring to life. It was impossible. It was good. Brandon almost laughed. He almost forgot he had ever known fear of death. This was conquering it. This was like bringing Richard back to life, but even more. It meant things to Earth and humanity, things about weapons and power and peace. Logan interrupted Brandon's exultant thinking by blowing smoke in his face. You know something, Brandy. This is damn good. You done something, mister? Yeah. I thought I told you to notify Earth. Ah, I been watching you. Like a mama hen and her chick. I been thinking, too. Yeah. Logan shook ashes off his smoke. Ever since you pulled in this prize fish, I been turning it over in my mind. Go up to the radio room and call Earth. We've got to rush the scientist to Moon Base immediately. We can talk later. There was that hard green shine to Logan's narrow eyes again. He poked a finger at Brandon. Here's the way I get it. Do we get rewarded for finding this guy? Hell, no. It's our routine work. We're supposed to pick up bodies. Here we got a guy who's the key to the whole damn war. Brandon's lips hardly moved. Call Earth. Now, hold on a moment, Brandy. Let me finish this. I been thinking, maybe the Martians like to own him, too. Maybe they'd like to be around when he starts talking. Brandon made a fist. You heard what I said. Logan put his hand behind him. I just want to talk peaceable with you, Brandy. I don't want trouble. But all we'll get for finding this stiff is a kiss on the cheek and a medal on the chest. Hell. Brandon was going to hit him hard, before he saw the gun in Logan's fingers, whipped out and pointing. Take a look at this, Brandy, and don't lose your supper. In spite of himself, Brandon quailed. It was almost an involuntary action. His whole body plunged back, aching, pulling with it. Now, let's march up to the radio room. I got a little calling to do. Get on with you. Hup. In the radio room, Logan touched studs, raised a mic to his lips and said, Beam to Mars. Beam to Mars. Morgue ship of Earth calling. Mars beam answer. After an interval, Mars gave answer. Logan said, I've just picked up the body of a 51 Circle scientist. He's been resuscitated. Give me your fleet commander. I got things to talk over with him. Logan smiled. Oh, hello, Commander. Half an hour later, the discussions were over, the plans made. Logan hung up, satisfied. Brandon looked at him as if he couldn't believe he was serious. Back down in the control room, Logan set a course, and then forced Brandon to get the body ready. He bragged about the deal. A half-ton of radium, Brandy. Not bad, eh? Good pay. More than Earth'd ever give me for my routine duty. Brandon shuddered. You fool. The Martians will kill us. Ah. Logan pantomimed him into moving the body onto a rolled table and taking it to the emergency life craft airlock. I'm not that dumb. I'm having you wire this emergency lifeboat with explosive. We collect the minerals first. We blow up the body if the Martians act funny. We make them wait until we've collected our half and gotten 5 hours start toward Earth before we allow them to pick up the body. Nice, huh? Brandon swayed over the task of wiring the lifeboat with explosive. You're cutting your own throat. Handing over a weapon like that to the Martian enemy. It was no again from Logan. After the Martians pick up the body and we're safely on our way home to Earth, I press a button and the whole damn thing blows up. They call it double-crossing. Destroy the body. Hell, yes. Think I want a weapon like that turned over to the enemy? Goo. The war'll go on for years. So Earth'll wind up winning, anyhow. We're getting along, slow but sure. And when the war's over, I got a load of radium to set myself up in business and a big future in front of me. So you kill millions of men, for that. What'd they do for me? Ruined my guts in the last war. There had to be some argument, something to say, quick, something to do to a man like Logan. Brandon thought, quickly. Look, Logan, we can work this, but save the body. Don't be funny. Put one of the other bodies in the ship we send out. Save Lazarus' body and run back to Earth with it, insisted Brandon. The little assistant shook his head. The Martians'll have an intramaterial beam focused on the emergency ship when they get within 100,000 miles of her. They'll be able to tell then if the body's dead or alive. No dice, Brandy. It was hardly like leaping himself, thought Brandon. It was just frustration and rage and unthinking action. Brandon jumped. Logan hardly flicked an eyelid as he pressed the trigger of his paragun. It paralyzed the legs from under Brandon and he collapsed. The gun sprayed over his groin and chest and face, too, in a withering shower of red-hot needles. The lights went out. There was a loose sensation of empty space, and acceleration minus power. Pure soundless momentum. Brandon forced his eyes open painfully, and found himself alone in the preparations room, lying stretched upon one of the coroner tables, bound with metal fiber. Logan, he bellowed it up through the ship. He waited. He did it again. Logan. He fought the metal fiber, knotting his fists, twisting his arms. He yanked himself back and forth. It pretty well held, except for a looseness in the right hand binding. He worked on that. Upstairs, a queer, detached Martian bass voice intoned itself. 500,000 miles. Prepare your emergency craft with the body of the scientist inside of it, morgue ship. At 300,000 miles, release the emergency craft. We'll release our mineral payment ship now, giving you a half-hour leeway to pick it up. It contains the exact amount you asked for. Logan's voice next. Good. The scientist is alive, still, and doing well. You're getting a bargain. Brandon's face whitened, bringing out all the hard, scared bones of it, the cheeks and brow and chin bones. He jerked against the binding and it only jumped the air from his lungs, so he sobbed. Breathing deeply, he lay back. They were taking his child back out into space. Lazarus, his second son, whom he had birthed out of space with a metal retriever, they were taking back out and away from him. You can't have your real son, so you take the second best and you slap him into breathing life, into breathing consciousness, and before he is a day old they try to tear him away from you again. Brandon fairly yelled against his manacles of wire. Sweat came down his face, and the stuff from his eyes wasn't all sweat. Logan tiptoed down the hard rungs, grinning. Awake, sleeping beauty. Brandon said nothing. His right hand was loosened. It was wet and loosened, working like a small white animal at his side, slipping from its wire trap. You can't go ahead with it, Logan. Why not? The Earth Tribunal will find out. You won't tell them. Logan was doing something across the room. He was the only moving thing in front of 100 cold shelves of sleeping warriors. Brandon gasped, tried to get up, fell back. How'll you fake my death? With an injection of sulfacardium. Heart failure. Too much pulse on a too old heart. Simple. Logan turned and there was a hypodermic in his hand. Brandon lay there. The ship went on and on. The body was upstairs, lying breathing in its metal cradle, mothered by him and jerked to life by him, and now going away. Brandon managed to say, "Do me a favor." "What?" "Give me the drug now. I don't want to be awake when you send Lazarus out. I don't want that." "Sure." Logan came walking across the deck, raising the hypodermic. It glittered hard and silver fine, and sharp. "One more thing, Logan. Hurry it up. Only one arm free, one leg able to move slightly." Logan was pressing against the table, now. The hypodermic hesitated in his fingers. "This," said Brandon. With one foot, Brandon kicked the teeter-totter control at the base of the board. The board, whining, began to elevate swiftly. With his free arm, instantly pulling the last way free from the wire, Brandon clutched Logan's screaming head and jammed it down under the table, under the descending board. Board and metal base ground together and kept on going 3 inches. Logan screamed only once. The sounds after that were so horrible that Brandon retched. Logan's body slumped and hung, arms slack, hypo dropped and shattered on the deck. The whole table kept going up and down, up and down. It made Brandon sicker with each movement. The whole room revolved, tipped, spun sickishly. The corpses in all their niches seemed to shiver with it. He managed to kick the control to neutral and the table poised, elevated at the heels, so blood pounded hotly into Brandon's pale face, lighting, coloring it. His heart was pounding furiously and the chronometer upon the hull wall clicked out time passing and miles with it, and Martians coming so much the closer. He fought the remaining wires continuously, cursing, bringing threads and beads of blood from raw wrist, ankle and hips. Red lights buzzed like insects on the ceiling, spelling out, rocket coming. Unknown craft. Rocket approaching. Hold on, Lazarus. Don't let them wake you all the way up. Don't let them take you. Better for you to go on slumbering forever. The wire on his left wrist sprang open. It took another 5 minutes to bleed himself out of the ankle wires. The ship spun on, all too quickly. Not looking at Logan's body, Brandon sprang from the table and with an infinite weariness tried to speed himself up the rungs. His mind raced ahead, but his body could only sludge rung after rung upward into the radio room. The door to the emergency rocket boat was wide, and inside, living quietly, cheeks pink, pulse beating softly in throat, Lazarus lay unthinking, unknowing that his new father had come into his presence. Brandon glanced at his wrist chronometer. Almost time to slam that door, shoving Lazarus out into space to meet the Martians. 5 minutes. He stood there, sweating. Then, decided, he put a tight audio beam straight on through to green Earth. Earth. Morgue ship coming home. Morgue ship coming home. Important cargo. Important cargo. Please meet us off the moon. Setting the ship controls into an automatic mesh, he felt the thundering jets explode to life under him. It was not alone their shaking that pulsed through his body. It was something of himself, too. He was sick. He wanted to get back to Earth so badly. He was violently ill with the desire to forget all of war and death. He could give Lazarus to the enemy and then turn homeward. Yes, he supposed he could do that. But, give up a second son where you already have given up one? No. No. Or, destroy the body now. Brandon fingered a ray gun momentarily. Then he threw it away from him, eyes closed, swaying. No. And if he should try to run away to Earth now? The Martians would pursue and capture him. There was no speed in a morgue ship to outdistance superior craft. Brandon walked unsteadily to the side of the sleeping scientist. He watched him a moment, touching him, looking at him with a lost light in his eyes. Then, he began the final preparations, lifting the scientist, going toward the life rocket. The Martians intercepted the emergency life rocket at 5,199 CVZ. The morgue ship itself was nowhere visible. It had already completed its arc and was driving back toward Earth. The body of Lazarus was hurried into the hospital cubicle of the Martian rocket. The body was laid upon a table, and immediate efforts were made to bring it out of its centuries of rest. Lazarus reclined, silver uniform belted across the middle with soft mouse gray leather, bronze symbol 51 over the heart. Breathlessly, the Martians crowded in about the body, probing, examining, trying, waiting. The room got very warm. The little purple eyes blinked hot and tensed. Lazarus was breathing deeply now, sighing into full aware life, Lazarus coming from the tomb. After 300 years of avoid death. Armed guards stood on both sides of the medical table, weapons poised, torture mechanisms ready to make Lazarus speak if he refused to tell. The eyes of Lazarus fluttered open. Lazarus out of the tomb. Lazarus seeing his companions, iris widening upon itself, forcing shape out of mist. Seeing the curious blue skulls of anxious Martians collected in a watching crowd about him. Lazarus living, breathing, ready to speak. Lazarus lifted his head, curiously, parted his lips, wetted them with his tongue, and then spoke. His first words were, "What time is it?" It was a simple sentence, and all of the Martians bent forward to catch its significance as one of the Martians replied, 23:45. Lazarus nodded and closed his eyes and lay back. Good. He's safe then, by now. He's safe. The Martians closed in, waiting for the next important words of the waking dead. Lazarus kept his eyes closed, and he trembled a little, as if, in spite of himself, he couldn't help it. He said, "My name is Brandon." Then, Lazarus laughed. Asterisk 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 end of the Project Gutenberg ebook Lazarus come forth asterisk 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 updated editions will replace the previous one, the old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start. Full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works, by using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg. You agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Symbol Electronic Works 1.0. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work, You indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright, agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the Foundation or PGLAF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg, 1.e.1. The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2 If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3 If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4 Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. 1.e.5 Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. 1.e.6 You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark symbol website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7 Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8. You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works provided that you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. 1.e.9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f1.f.1. Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2. Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3. Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4. Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3, this work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5. Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6. Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, and C. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers, including obsolete, old, middle-aged and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark symbol S goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark symbol and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, see sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's IN or Federal Tax Identification Number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, UT 84116, 801-596-1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways, including checks, online payments and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg Trademark Symbol Electronic Works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the US unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks.